You are playing with white here. Black pawn is about to change his gender to queen in the next move. Your king is helpless because Diddy is guarding the square. You cannot stop it with the rook as well. Seeing this position in a puzzle makes you think for different possibilities, but in an actual game, you would give this only possible check. BBC moves, and then you will realize there is no possible check. Not from here, and not from here. And now this pawn will just queen, and you resign. Let's go back. Moving the crib walker will also not help because he doesn't even have to take it. He will queen first. So how do you actually win this? Like the video and learn the pattern that how can you deflect this Diddy from the protection of the pawn? You need to think one move ahead and create the chance. And the only move that deflects is this amazing rook sacrifice. BBC cannot move aside because pawn will die, so he has to take. But now, you give this Diddy check. BBC moves, you take the Diddy. But what if he takes? No worries, because you have successfully deflected the Diddy, and now your king can absolutely catch the pawn on time. But wait, watch this puzzle now. You are playing as white in this position. You have two passed pawns ready to promote, but it's a lot harder than you think. Your opponent is just waiting for you to mess up, and one wrong move throws the entire game away. For example, if you try to promote this pawn, the rook is right behind it to stop it with a check. But if you try to move the other one, the rook comes right behind the pawn. He is literally shadowing your every move. But you think you are smart and push this pawn now? It's also a mistake because rook takes the pawn with check and a fork. And just like that, your winning endgame turns into a massive disaster. So you can't touch these pawns. Meaning, just like the previous puzzle, you have to deflect this rook somehow. I gave you a hint. Now you can pause the video and show your chess skills. Alright, if you thought giving this check with the crib walker, congratulations! You are right. The rook has to take the cribby. You have successfully deflected the rook. Now our A pawn is free. What do you do now? If you push this one, this is a mistake. Because after rook A1, if you push this one, rook simply takes, pinning the pawn to the king. Absolute tragedy. Oh, so you gotta push the other one, right? Nope. Because after rook D1, this is the check, and a fork again. This rook is a relentless nightmare. So how do you win this then? Like the video, move your majesty to H8, clearing the 7th rank and preventing forks. A completely silent but deadly king move. Now both your pawns are free. If the rook goes on D1, you move the A pawn. He goes A1, you move the D pawn. Same pattern in the other order. If he goes to A1, you push the D pawn, and if he goes D1, you move the A pawn. You are just dancing around his defenses. But what if he gives a check? Do not ever enter in the 7th rank. Just move the king in the 8th rank. Again check, move again. Once again check, you move. Let him waste his time. And finally, you take shelter behind the BBC king and promote the pawns. If you are enjoying the video so far, please consider liking the video. No AI was used. This is frame by frame hand animated video. Let's aim for 5,000 likes. Alright, what if I give you a similar position to the previous one? This one is a complete brain melter. The pawn is about to queen in 2 moves, and you only have a crib walker left against the big black tower. The odds are completely stacked against you. Looks simple, but if you just push the pawn, it will be a blunder, because after rook to b1, you cannot push anymore, and BBC simply sacrifices the rook, and a crib walker is not enough for checkmate. Black secures a draw, but you are not playing for a draw. You are here to win. But what if you block with the crib walker, rook to b1, and you move the king to defend it, right? Nope, still a blunder, because after rook to a1, the king has to move, and BBC's rook runs behind the pawn just in time. So how do you actually win this? The exact same idea. Deflection. The rook needs to be absolutely honey-trapped, and the only amazing move that actually does it is bishop to c4. If the BBC rook takes it, this square is covered by the king, and he can't run to the back rank either because of the pawn, and you will easily promote. But BBC knows this, of course. He is not going down without a fight. What if instead of taking, the rook just targets the pawn? The crib walker again blocks the view. But BBC can just give a check, right? Nope, crib walker again blocks it. What an absolute hero. But wait, the pawn still has 2 squares to go. The rook can still reach the back rank to stop it. For example, rook h8. After the pawn moves, rook to h1. He is ready to stop the pawn dead in its tracks. But then you play this amazing crib walker to e6. Check. BBC moves, and the crib walker is ready to give his life to promote the pawn. What if BBC rook takes the f8 route? Same scenario again. The crib walker blocks the rook. But what if the rook takes the e-file route? After rook to e8, he protects the check square. This is getting super intense. What do you do now? Play it anyway! Our goal is to deflect the rook at all costs. If he takes, you successfully make the queen. And if not, the crib walker stands tall in front of the rook, and you win the game. Subscribe!